Greetings. You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we are here once again to talk about next week's anime releases. So, of course, next week, if you're watching this late, being the 15th of August, I've got my cheat sheet down here. And, it's going to be an interesting week. You've got actually a couple of big things coming out. And a couple of okay things, depending on what you're collecting. Or how you're collecting it, I should say. So, I'm going to start with just the two of the Funimation things that are more of the how you're collecting. The first is going to be like One Piece Season 9 Part 2. For those of you really unlucky enough to say, I'm going to collect One Piece as soon as it comes out on DVD in 12 to 13 episode chunks. Now, that to me is not a very wise way to collect a series that is 700 episodes long and going.
And I believe this collection covers the low 500s, right? Or
Yeah.
part of them.
And really there's three ways you can collect One Piece right now, and I think there's a fourth. Like, they were like singles, like they were like 4 episode things that they listed at the very beginning, and they don't produce those anymore. So you would get those, and then you'd have to move on to one of these couple of formats. Amazon for a while, and these are discontinued, did like 100 episode chunks, which I debated doing, but I wasn't certain about the packaging. I really don't like those big ones being in spool type packaging, and that could be spool type packaging. So the other thing about it is the 26 episode packaging, which is what I'm doing. And I would say you can see it behind me, but you can't. So that to me is one of the one of the simpler ones. They usually range from 20 to 25 per, which isn't too bad. Or you can wait till they go on sale and try and get it cheaper for those of you with less money and more collectability. And then of course you have this crap. But again, if you want it as soon as you can get it, that's the case. But I think that the 26 episode sets are about even with it, if not higher. Let's see, there are 19 of them out now. So that puts it at, 19 times 26. Okay, well, math I'm not very good at, but so, all right. So, I mean, in the other sets, it's like in 400 something, and this is in the early 500s. And of course, us doing some math real quick, pausing and doing math, we figured that there must be more than 2 volumes per season in order to get to that number. So that's quite a lot of volumes.
Exactly. I think it's 4. I would need to double check.
If that's the case, then you really, really need to...
Hey, you might, just because you hate One Piece doesn't mean everyone else does.
That's true.
If you went with this route, you could have a wall of like this, but all One Piece.
That's true. I mean, I used to have the entire set of Inuyasha in those like singles.
Yeah.
Where it was like 4 or 5 episodes a DVD, and that filled up almost the entire like shelf on the side there, and that was just nerve-wracking. So I ended up scaling down.
It's a lot easier with just 7 boxes.
Yep, yes indeed. And then, of course, one that I know you're looking for because you're collecting them in these bigger things. Again, the alternate collection, Fairy Tale Collection 9, which is, I believe, aren't those 26 or 24 episodes?
Yeah.
Now, they are kind of behind on theirs. So, with these particular ones, because the current volumes of like the 13 episode ones is up to 22, and I think they're doing like 1 or 2 more to round out the series. They've announced like the final season of the series to come up, so that'll finish out the manga. So it's going to so that will finish up the series, but who knows when that's
this
going.
one right here is the start of the second series. Now, there are 2 separate fairy tale series, but a lot of people, Funimation included, ignore that and just treat it as one. But the series ended and the second series begins with the Grand Magic Games story arc. And this set, I think, covers the tail end of that arc. So it should also include the final episodes I saw. I watched up to that point streaming, but I don't do much streaming, and I kind of broke off from it. I've read the manga up to the current big battle versus Zeref.
Cafefe.
But I do know that this is well behind where your collection goes.
Well, 15 is where season 2 starts in the 13 episode volumes.
Yeah. So that's but yeah, and we definitely, I just point out this week is a heavy shonen. Fairy Tail and One Piece are both major shonen series. They're pretty big players in that field. They're pretty big. I personally enjoy Fairy Tail a lot, but it's flawed, but I enjoy it. One Piece I have not fully gotten into, but I like to remember that one.
Well, I haven't watched it since I ran One Piece. So that tells you how long it's been since I've watched on the series. So yeah, a friend of ours actually came up with a tabletop RPG, which
for each of these,
for Fairy Tail and One Piece, and I ran the One Piece one because they thought that it would be funny to have me run a series I don't really care for, and so I had to start doing research and watching the series, and then as soon as I stopped watching it. So I've got it; it's building up. But I haven't really done anything with it as far as watching or continuing. So I'm sure I'll get to it eventually. And so speaking of shonen, moving from shonen to pornography, as in Food Wars, which is about food porn and pornographic reactions to food.
I thought that was Gourmet Girl Graffiti.
There are lots of... This is a genre.
Both licensed by Sentai Filmworks, so it tells you something about the people there. No.
But and Food Wars appears to be... Isn't that released by Funimation?
No, Sentai.
Is Sentai doing that?
And from what I looked at, I know nothing about Food Wars, but I looked it up, and it looks like kind of a typical shonen series, but at a cooking school with people who really love their cooking. So you can think of... What's the dude from One Piece? Sanji. Sanji type characters with, again, I briefly mentioned one of the series I started on streaming was Gourmet Girl Graffiti. That is very much a food porn series.
Well, I mean, there's one behind me.
And it bored me. Which one?
Yukatate Japan, I think it is.
Yukatate Japan, yeah.
That one actually is also, again...
I wanted to get that.
It's there. My first actual. It's a genre. It's actually turning into a genre, and Food Wars is very popular. I want to see it. It's just in my long lineup. My first exposure to the genre was Cooking Master Boy, which is a Chinese animation, and actually quite good. I wish that they would release it, but China is weird, so I don't. I try not to judge.
Okay.
So, last but not least, from Shout Factory, is Digimon Tri, or Digimon Tri Determination. For those of you Digimon fans out there, Shout Factory is capturing your childhood and bringing it to you in fine quality, as Shout Factory is known to do. I actually like most Shout Factory releases. I don't know this. I'm not one of the people who got into Digimon. I wasn't one of the people who got into Pokemon. So, all I remember is Digimon was Pokemon Light. People said to me that the story was a little bit better, And that's all I really know about it. What do you know much about Digimon?
I missed those completely. I was already an adult when I got into anime, so I completely missed the ones that were aimed at a younger audience. And working in a library, I see them frequently. Pokemon's a very popular checkout, and I'm kind of learning with some of the characters, but Digimon not as much. It's not known as well. I mean, it's well, you know what I mean. But it maybe one day. It's not a priority, but like you said, for those of you who did grow up on it, it's out there now. So
yes, it
that's
is.
good.
And that is going to be it for this this coming week's releases. Of course, in the next week, we have actually another decent week. I mean, 4 more titles. And
one of them I'm really looking forward to.
And then, of course, the last week in August, that's going to be a longer than usual one. So keep that in mind. And we'll see you all when we get to it.
Right.
All right. Well, have a good one. Like, share, subscribe. Probably not in that order. Well, like it first. Oh, no, you could do all of them in that order. In any case, take care.